So good. Marie, welcome to Spark TV. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
So good. Let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name's Marie Matter, and I own the Australian Baroque Riding Academy in Mount Gambier, South Australia. I am a classical dressage instructor. So I have 8 horses on the property at the moment, and I teach people how to connect with horses. I teach brain training so people can be calm before they even uh, interact with any of my horses. I have an equine assisted activity program for disabled people who can come and uh, do brain training, interact with horses. We talk about trauma. I'm a trauma informed coach as well. So the healing properties of horses is amazing. And I've been doing some of my own research about how horses affect our brain waves and change our brainwave patterns from being really chaotic and working really fast into starting to come into an alpha brainwave state, which is when we get into sort of a bit more of a focused but relaxed mode. So I've done a degree in cognitive neuroscience. I finished that when I was in my early 20s and then worked for the world's first database of brain function. So I was a research assistant for many, many years with them, and then realized something was missing from my life. And I realized that was horses, because I've always loved horses since I was 2. And embarked on a remarkable journey, going overseas, training with lots of different people, and then finding my niche, which is classical dressage, sort of what you would see or what you might see at the Spanish riding school in Vienna. And there's lots of places all around the world who are trying to preserve art form of classical dressage, which is working in harmony with horses, not for competition, but for their best welfare and humans' best welfare. So I come at it from a horse and human perspective. So I want the humans to understand horse welfare and understand themselves and horses at the same time. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is incredible. This is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wild. Like
That's right.
having that academic background, having something that you're so passionate about and that you love, and bringing them together to create a business that, obviously supports you and your passion, but a lot of other people and makes a huge impact. This is wild.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I went on quite a crazy journey to get here because my husband fell off a ladder 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, and fractured the
Wow.
base of his skull, and an air pocket went into his brain, and he's now has a permanent disability and it has a brain injury. So
Wow.
I was working in the corporate space in HR and practice management for a dental clinic and a medical clinic, and was using my academia as well as some of my admin skills that are amazing, but I've got admin. It was more the people management skills that I had. And when I realized that I had to give away corporate work, I needed to find something that really lifted me up. And I always wanted to start a school. So in COVID, I started my school, because when else would you start a business when you're me? When
Oh
else
my
would you
God.
start it?
Oh my gosh, you're a sucker for punishment. I can tell already.
Sucker, a total sucker for punishment. Exactly. But the business is going really well, and I've got lots of students, and now I'm trying to embark on, like, I've got an online mindset course. I've started a podcast,
Ooh.
and I'm writing a bushfire ready course at the moment, and a course for instructors to, improve their business, improve the way that they teach, the way that they interact with their students, and how to get more students, and how to keep the horses' welfare as number one throughout all of that. So there's lots in
Uh,
the pipelines.
I love it. You sound like a crazy entrepreneur, which I just love.
Yeah.
And so interesting
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it came about as a part of kind of having to leave your corporate career and support your husband. But how amazing that, and I'm sure that would have been absolutely horrific, but how amazing that something like that has turned into something so incredible.
Yeah. And it was a really big decision because I was earning great money
Yeah.
corporately, but I was incredibly not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it was making great money for the family. I could have sustained it, but I was never here. I was never at the farm. I had two horses. I never got to see them because I was working 60 hours a week.
Mm,
Mentally, I was so fatigued, but now I only get physically fatigued, not mentally fatigued anymore, because I'm out on the farm every day doing exactly what I want to be doing. And we, I sort of said to my husband, well, if I don't pursue my passions now, despite what we've been through, when am I
mm,
going to? It's
yeah.
never going to happen, and it's me. I have to pursue this, and this is what I want to do. And off I went, learning everything.
How did you find that transition? What was it like going from corporate to business ownership for you?
I really noticed that I didn't have a lot of faith in myself, so I underpriced right from the
Mm,
beginning, which was a really difficult position to put myself in now that I'm 4 years down the track. I wish I had have started where I was worth back then so that I could have valued what I was doing more, because I was starting to feel like my skills and experience weren't being recognized because I was charging, I think I
yeah.
started at $30 a lesson, and now I'm up to 85, and I'd love to be at 100, but I haven't managed to get there yet. And I'm just going along that journey of self-discovery and realizing my worth and realizing that every experience I've been through has led me to this point of being able to share my knowledge in a really safe space. I've created an amazing so through all of that, I converted 10 stables into an indoor arena, two stables, a kitchen, and a viewing platform. So now I have somewhere indoors that I can work rather than having
Wow.
to be out in an outdoor arena, which is where I started. So I've come from the beginning of the business to now, we've pumped every cent that we have had through the door into the business. And now I'd love to recoup some of that, but the business only just pays for itself. Having 8 horses on the property is, yeah, it's really expensive. So it's where I'm
Mm.
looking to launch off a little bit further and just share with everyone my passion. And you start to find that the people that don't resonate with you start to filter away and go to where they do resonate. And that then leaves space for the people who really, really want to learn this work. And it's been hard to say no to people. I'm
Oh,
learning.
yeah. It's so
It's
amazing that you're talking about this. I just had another call today and we were talking about how business has got to be like the biggest personal development experience that you can possibly go through.
absolutely,
And I don't think a lot of
absolutely.
people talk enough about how, you're not a millionaire on day one or year 10 in some cases. Like businesses are, and just depending on the type of business you have, they can be very expensive to actually run. So you are coming out of the gate at a loss and trying to make up that ground.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we don't even have a tractor. So we can't move manure around or dig out paddocks like we need to or put fencing
Mm.
in like we need to yet. But that doesn't mean that we won't get there, because I've always had this dream. And so probably 15 years ago, I decided that I wanted to ride. I wanted to run a riding school.
Yeah.
And so I stuck little post-it notes all over the house, on the doorknobs, on the mirrors, on the windows, in my car, on my desk at work, on my laptop. Literally everywhere I went, I saw establish a riding school. And it happened. And it wasn't
Oh, so good.
through, like, it was through a lot of hard work, but it was almost like the universe was conspiring to get me there through whatever it is that we went through. Like, that's such difficult, horrible time that we had. We also tried to flip it into a really big positive that neither of us were working. We got to have another honeymoon period, although he was exceptionally ill. We got to spend like 14 hours a day, 7 days a week together for 6 months. It was incredible. And our daughter was being looked after by my parents. And it was just like we were reliving our dating days again. But it's all
Wow.
about turning that really negative situation that you're in into a positive. Like, how can I
Mm.
help make this the best situation that we can, given what we've given at the moment? So we've conquered that. That's one of one of my strengths there. So I wrote positive quotes up on the doctor's boards every day because I was there, and one day I didn't do it, and it's funny, the neurosurgeons and the ENT surgeons and the plastic team all said, "Where's your quote today? We love that quote. Like, we love that you change it
Oh,
every day and we get to
wow.
see it. We take it forward with us into our work." And I went, I didn't
Oh,
know I had an impact. I was just writing it up there for me, not for anyone else, but I'm glad that you read it and that you took it forward. And so every time we would go back to hospital, I just say to the nurses, okay, I'm here. I'll fluff pillows. I'll get everybody water. I'll mop the floors if I have to. I'll change beds. But when we ring the bell, it's something in this room needs to be done now.
yeah.
So that was a really good way of acknowledging all of the nurses' hard work that they do isn't just to fluff a pillow for somebody. Or I found I ended up becoming a confidant for a lot of the families that were coming through because I was so old hat at being in hospital.
Mm,
They would bring a lot of and people do this at work as well. They bring their problems in, and the person
mm,
that's sick can't handle, like, they're just trying to survive, particularly in a neuro ward.
yeah.
Um, where they're just trying to survive. So bringing in all the drama from outside absolutely doesn't help. And you just feel the room when the families leave and you go, oh,
Oh, gosh.
everybody breathe. Everybody's calm again. We've got this,
Wow.
team. So that was a really amazing but horrible opportunity to see how much impact I can have from being me. And it really started my journey of, oh wow, I have stuff to offer and I can,
Oh, yeah.
change the vibe of a room by being who I am. And so I was diagnosed with ADHD last year,
Hmm.
which was one of the best things that ever happened because
Tell me
finally
why.
I didn't have to mask my quirks anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be quiet because what I was about to say might be perceived as weird, or
Mm,
that I have so much energy sometimes that, oh, that's a lot. I've learned how to, through horses, how to be calm and relaxed. But when I'm talking about it, I get excited because it's my passion and it's what drives me. And um, being diagnosed gave me more resources. Even having worked in psychology, knew I probably had it for a very, very long time, but no
mm,
one was willing to listen or get to the point of diagnosing. And then when I went on medication, my whole world changed. My
wow.
thoughts were less chaotic. I was doing less circles in the kitchen trying to make a coffee. We have something called the matter reprise. So every time we get in the car, we forget something. So somebody
Mm,
comes back into the house and gets the next thing, and sometimes it's 4 times before you actually leave. So perpetually late. And it doesn't stop who you are, but it just helps you be on a little more of a straight and narrow track than doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. And those ADHD videos that you see are real. It happens in real life. It's exactly, I really resonate with social media content creators that put ADHD stuff up. I'm like, yep, I do that every day. Yeah.
Wow. It's so cool though that we do live in a time where people are starting to get it. They're starting to understand, they're starting to diagnose more, they're starting to support more, have more
Yeah.
conversations. And I love how, again, so not only have you taken a really crap situation and turned it into something amazing, but again, you have taken parts of you that perhaps, we didn't understand before and gone, no, this is now my superpower. This is when I'm standing in front of a group talking about this topic that I am so passionate about. Like, that's the thing that people love about you.
Mm. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And it then allows a different type of conversation. So people who have
Mm,
been through trauma feel more relaxed around me. People who have ADHD or autism feel more relaxed about me, more relaxed just being around me because I'm now being authentic
mm,
and showing up as being vulnerable. So I love Brene Brown. I don't know if you've seen some of her
yeah.
videos, and she did a talk about being vulnerable. And it's just, it's so true when you get up there and you take that lid off and you just open up a piece of yourself that is quite vulnerable, that people might, every people judge. But that's not for me to take on. That's their judgment and that's their thoughts and that's, their belief system happening. Nothing to do with me necessarily because it might spark something in them, which
Yeah.
is
100%.
okay, but it's their journey, not my journey. So learning to have a thick skin, particularly in business, is really important,
Well, that was going to
because
be
you can go all in.
that was going to be a question that I asked, was if you had tips for other women in business who might have had that. Because I know a lot of women in business who have had the ADHD diagnosis in the last couple of years. Has there been any like thing that you've found that's helped you in business?
Trying to structure one day off a week where I solely look at admin has been remarkable. Having
Wow.
having Wednesdays where I don't organize appointments and I don't organize lessons, that is an admin day. That's where I can create content. I reconcile my accounts on that day every single week, because otherwise it gets to, 1,000 receipts and they will want to actually do it. And it just becomes insurmountable. So
Yeah.
breaking those big tasks down into just starting. AI has been revolutionary. So at uni 20 years ago, makes me sound old now, we were just starting the AI journey back then, 20 years ago. And I was working on making a robot baby learn how babies learn. And I mean, it was incredible. Some of the stuff I got to do at university was brilliant. But now to see how much it's evolved and
Mm.
how you can use something like Chat GPT, and I'm absolutely not sponsored by them at all, but I've been using it to write marketing, to
Mm.
look at, I've got this idea for a course. What do you think the target market would be? Or just, throwing around those ideas with something that has access to the search engines that has all of that knowledge is
Mm.
just, it's revolutionary. And then learning prompts of what to write in there to get a better detailed description of something that you want, and then taking it, like, it gets you off the blank page. That's like where a lot of
Yes.
us sit, of like, where do I start? I don't even know how to write this course. I don't even know how to make a second, third, fourth, fifth income stream. What do I do?
Mm.
And type that in chat. Type that in. I want another income. What do I do? And this is who I am. And so I've done a lot of learning with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I don't know
Oh,
if you've
amazing.
heard of
I
them.
love them.
Yeah,
Yes, I
so I've
just
done,
signed up for
yeah,
a
so
3-day event with Tony Robbins.
brilliant, brilliant. The mastermind community is amazing.
Yeah.
I got up in the middle of the night and did a course with them. I think it was called Launchpad Live. last year or the year before, and it helped me write my mindset course. And I wrote it very quickly, and it I pumped out. And although I haven't had the traction that I want, I know that I will get there. But I
Yep.
haven't worked out funnels yet, and like I haven't I've got those pieces and gaps missing in my knowledge, and I know that. And sometimes ADHD gets in the way of that because then I procrastinate about it and go, oh, I'll just go and feed a horse or ride a horse. That'll be easier than dealing with a funnel.
But I love it because it just highlights how business can be messy and you still have a business. Like I sometimes think people think that you have to have everything perfect. You need to know, the products on day one, messaging, websites, funnels, like you said, like all of these different things. But I'm like, no, it all comes as a result of just starting. Like you do one thing and you're like, oh, I learned about that. I could do that. And oh, okay, now I need to learn about funnels. Oh, now I need to do this. Now I need to do this. Like you will fill all of those gaps over time. I think the best thing is
Yeah.
from for anyone in business is just to start and put one foot in front of the other and just give something a go. That's the only way you know what you love doing and or what your gaps are.
And I think there's a lot of worth in knowing what you don't want to do. That it's
Yes.
okay to start and go, oh, this is really not for me. I'm
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
That is okay. And being genuinely okay with ourselves when we make mistakes. That it's as long as we learn from them and look to solve them and solve bigger problems, the bigger we get in business, we're
Mm,
solving bigger problems. The
yes.
stress isn't different. The stress is the same, but it's how you approach that challenge that's really important. And
Yes.
if you approach it with a solution focused attitude, you'll get there as opposed to I can't do that. Like I built my own website through Squarespace, and it's functional, it
Yep.
works. It's um one of the things that really sticks in my mind from one of the courses I've done is that do it messy, do it scared, but do it anyway.
Yes. I
That,
love
that
that.
first live, do it messy, do it scared, do it anyway. Um, the first live, the first run of the website, the first time you use the accounting program, the first time you meet an accountant, um, the first student I had through. Like I knew how to teach, but I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I had all the building blocks there, but this was my first time. So being authentic with that and taking on feedback, but not taking it on as a dig at you, that, you can always get better. You can always be moving forward. And the best way you learn is through making mistakes, and it can be fixed or it can
Oh my
be
God.
moved on from. Not holding on to that. You can't
Yeah.
hold on to that because, we all make mistakes, and that's a part of the learning journey. You can't start a business knowing it all. Like you just can't.
Oh my God. I love that so much. And because I think too, like, once you've been in business for a little while, sometimes you do get that in your mind. It's like, I can't change my product. I can't change my pricing. I can't change, even the industry that I'm in. But I'm like, yeah, you can. You're the boss. You are literally the person that gets to change it because you made it up in the first place. So you can make it up again.
Yeah. And I think I've had a lot of conversations with people being a HR manager previously of why are you coming to work in a job that you hate?
Yeah.
You are not a prisoner. We will replace you. Like no one is irreplaceable in a business. It's a hard, horrible truth.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
doesn't matter how much you give to that business, they will find somebody different. And yes, they might split it up into 2 or 3 roles if you have ADHD and can handle a big workload, but it doesn't mean that you should. It doesn't mean that you should burn yourself out. And I've had so many of those conversations. And I have helped people get into what, like, there was one nurse who loved sewing, So I said, why aren't you working at the sewing shop? Why aren't you doing your own sewing and selling it? And she ended up resigning and moving on to something bigger and better than
Wow.
where she was hating it. And that, I don't have time for people who complain so much about their jobs because they can change it. You can learn, you can study. Yes, you may be eating noodles for a while, but have we not all been there?
Yeah, totally. Don't we all go through
Uh,
those phases anyway?
oh yeah. We've gone from two really good wages to living off the pension because I'm a carer for my husband and he
Mm,
gets the pension and we are broke. But we have never been happier.
yeah.
And I think that sometimes having money is amazing. Had a lot of money through our pockets, but it's not what makes you happy.
Mm.
It's, yeah, finding your why, finding your passion, and then pursuing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a real big shift, I think, at the moment for like redefining what success means. And, I always, if anyone's listened to this podcast, I know I always rant about Instagram people who talk about 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. And I'm like, they don't talk about the reality behind them. And I see so many people follow processes and are miserable because it's like that's not the life they wanted. They're using somebody else's benchmark of success to build a business and then like hate it. Oh my God. You are so
Sorry,
lucky.
that's my husband. Brought
Hi.
me a super duper in the middle of an interview. Love
I'm
it.
like, this is the
Podcast.
dream.
I know, I'm living the dream, right?
That
Totally
is
living the dream.
that is absolutely incredible. Of all the things that have happened on podcast recordings, a husband bringing in a super duper has not happened.
Welcome.
Oh,
Welcome to the Matter household where
uh,
we never know what's gonna happen next.
oh my
Yeah,
God. Well, look,
love
it's
it.
perfect timing because we should wrap up. But I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last piece of advice. So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her business journey?
Just do it. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, if it resonates with you, it's going to resonate with somebody else, and you will find your tribe and they will be attracted to what you're offering. There is always someone out there who wants what you're able to give. Yeah.
You are absolutely incredible, Marie. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your insights. That's been phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you so much.